Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian, and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here in Western Canada. I hope all of you are having a fantastic weekend so far. Hi Anna, hi Fuang. Nice to see our members in the class. Everybody, this is an IELTS speaking part 2 class, the cue card, the long part. And this cue card will be focusing on the topic of a brave person. So person who you know that displays courage and bravery. Students, this lesson, as usual, is brought to you by aehelp.com. For academic IELTS, visit us there. For the general IELTS, check us out at gieltshelp.com. These are the two websites that we have that power these live classes. They have all of our materials, our exams, our interactive courses. It's a great time to join our premium IELTS package. We're adding lots of new content. In order to do that, click the big red button that's just right above my head there. It's a one-time payment. You get lifetime access, and it really doesn't cost much. We're an IDP affiliate. We are a British Council partner. I'm a British Council agent. We're an IELTS test registration center, and we help thousands of students every month to improve their English, their communication, and to succeed on the IELTS exam. For general IELTS, it's gieltshelp.com, the green background, same idea. Click this big red button that's just right above my head there, everybody, and you're off to the races. As some of you likely noticed, this is a members chat class. That means you need to be a channel member to join the chat. That is through YouTube. You click the join button next to the subscribe button. We have a new code for everybody joining the premium package on our website. The code is Tiger9. You get a 10% discount, and this is coming from a new video we just released a couple hours ago. It is a reading video on the YouTube channel. Check it out, everybody. Here's the URL in the chat. This reading video uses our passage comparing Siberian and Bengal tigers, hence the discount code Tiger9, and it focuses on true, false, not given time-saving strategy that we're using in these classes to effectively finish the reading section on time and to get good scores, especially for those true, false, not given questions. And it's a fun video, so check it out. We have apps for your phone. The apps in your app stores are Academic IELTS Help and General IELTS Help. These apps will link to the websites, so definitely take a look at that. And here's a blog to help you with the speaking as well. This is another blog for speaking part 2, talking about a fit person. There you are. Instagram is IELTS_AEHelp and GIELTS Help. And email if you have questions for the IELTS exam or about English or about us or products. Adrian@aehelp.com, admin@aehelp.com. Students, we've got a full schedule for you coming up for the next week and a bit of November. So November 18th to November 26th. We've got this speaking part 2 class right now. Then we'll have speaking part 3 live class on the website after this class. Okay, that speaking part 3 is connected to this topic of bravery and courage. So make sure that you attend that class through the website. And then tomorrow we have another class through the website, which will be a speaking exercise for everybody. So speaking exercise, speaking practice. No class on Monday, Tuesday, and then lots of classes starting up on Wednesday. We'll do a speaking practice for everybody on YouTube on Wednesday. Okay, so I've decided to put in these kind of speaking practice classes where there's less talk about instructions and strategy, and more talk on just practicing your speaking through our websites and through YouTube to really give you a chance to improve your English. Okay, so lots more coming at you there. Okay, everybody, let's dig in here. Just want to do a quick check here. Anna Fuang Mal, is everybody hearing me and seeing me okay? So can you hear me loud and clear? Is it good? Audio and everything? Just want to check that. Make sure you're on par with me. All right, everybody, let's get into some IELTS speaking part 2. Let's do this. Fuang says a little bit low. Okay. As long as it's just a bit, that's okay. I'm not sure what's going on there. I might have to do some technical back-end checks here, but okay, I'll keep that in mind, Fuang. Hi, Parsa. Okay, everybody, so we are into IELTS speaking. This is speaking part 2. Make sure to copy and repeat. Okay, I appreciate the feedback, by the way, Fuang. Yeah, because I'm looking at my audio meter and it seems a bit low to me as well. Okay, but turn up the volume on your end and it should be okay. All right, everybody. So here we go. Let's do this. You're in the IELTS speaking. You finish speaking part 1. You do the introductions. The examiner says that is the end of part 1. We will now continue with part 2. For this part, I will show you some questions. You will have 1 minute to read these questions, think about your answers, and then you will have 1 to 2 minutes to speak. You have some note paper there. I will tell you when to start and when to stop. Is that clear? Yes, it is. Okay, talk about a person you consider very brave. Your 1 minute preparation time begins now. All right, and then in that 1 minute, you have to make some quick, smart decisions, come up with some good ideas. So, first step is you read the questions. Talk about a person you consider very brave. Who is this person? What is this person like? What makes them courageous? What would you ask this person in a conversation and why? Your 1 minute preparation time begins now. All right, everybody. Think about some people that you know who are brave. I will ask you this in just a moment. I'm going to give you a couple of seconds. I'm going to try to fix this audio in the meantime. All right, so hopefully the audio is a little bit louder. There you go. Okay, so when you're talking about a person for speaking part 2, you have to remember one really important strategy. Okay. You have to describe their appearance. You have to explain their personality. Of course, here bravery is the key personality. And you need to make sure that you back that up with actions. Thanks, Frank. So Frank says it's better. All right, good. I'm happy that it's better. Okay. Okay. So again, remember, when talking about a person, for part 2, include their appearance, personality, plus actions that prove their personality. Now, the appearance is especially important when you're talking about a person that the examiner doesn't know. So keep that in mind, okay? So when we say appearance, we mean like a basic description of what the person looks like. Okay, so for example, tall, 190 centimeters, brown curly hair, charismatic smile. Okay, well dressed, suit and tie. All right, so you need to give a basic description, especially if the examiner doesn't know who you're talking about. So if you're talking about a famous person like Elon Musk or Johnny Depp or Shakira, somebody that's well known by most people, you might not need to focus as much on the appearance. But when you're introducing a person like your father, your sister, your cousin, your teacher, your classmate, your coworker, and the examiner has no idea who that person is or what they look like, it's a really, really important step to include a little bit about their appearance so that the examiner can put a face to your explanations, okay? So keep that in mind. When you are talking about a person who the examiner does not know. Okay, it could be a teacher, a parent, sibling. It is especially important to give a description of their appearance because the examiner should, and here's the expression, put a face to the character that you are describing. Okay? And I know some of you who watch these classes regularly know this. It's really important to keep this in mind, okay? So this is the expression that you can remember here. So you put a face to the person. Okay. All right. Nice. So everybody, let's do this. Okay. So you have to think about a brave person. When you have a topic like bravery, here's an interesting approach to speaking part 2. So the topic here is a brave person. Okay, now to help you think about what that means, okay, so what does it mean to be brave? All right, so obviously brave means to have courage. Okay, what is bravery? So members, what does it mean to be brave? What does it mean to have courage? Now remember, by focusing on the topic, and thinking of a clear definition, you will also improve your answers for part 3, which is connected to part 2. Okay. All right, Anna says the ability to be strong and protect themselves in a dangerous situation. Okay, and I'll copy that definition. Okay, so Anna says to the ability to be strong and protect themselves in a dangerous situation. I'm not sure if I would state that as my first definition of bravery or courage. Okay. Let's see, what are some other definitions? Because, of course, when you can define brave, so when you know what brave means in your mind, when you have a clear definition, then you have the ability to think about the people who are brave that you know, okay? Unless you have a clear idea of brave and courage and what that means, it might be tricky to think about a person who you consider to be brave, okay? Fuang says to get through our fear of something. Okay, so here we go. So Fuang says to get through. Fuang, the correct English is to overcome. Okay, so it's not get through. Everybody repeat. To overcome fear of something. Okay. Now, what is that something? So here, Fuang, you're on the right track. However, you want to define the something. Okay. So, and that will help you to think about people who are courageous. Okay. So focus on this word something and tell me what that is. To overcome fear of what? Okay, so to overcome fear of what? I agree with you, Fuang, absolutely. To be brave means to overcome fear or a phobia, yes. Okay, Fuang says to overcome fear of failure or sickness. Okay. Domenico says a brave person is also bold and cheeky. Possibly, Domenico, those could be attitudes connected to being brave. So that is the way that somebody is brave, right? So let's just keep going with the thought pattern here, okay? It's really important that you can develop your thoughts for the IELTS speaking and writing task 2. Okay, so let's just stay with this thought for now that Fuang has started for us, which is the definition of brave or courage. To overcome fear of failure, sickness. So to be brave is to overcome fear of failure, sickness. What else? Okay. Give me some more, students. What else? What else does a brave or a courageous person overcome? Okay. Failure, sickness. What else? What else? You have to be able to define brave. If you're having difficulty right now defining brave or thinking about, well, what does it mean? What are people usually scared of? You would have difficulty answering this part 2 question. Okay, to answer this part 2 question fluently, this is exactly where you need to have some good ideas, because this is going to be the content. And to speak for 1 to 2 minutes, you're going to need a bit more than what we have here. Okay, so Domenico says a brave person is the kind of individual who doesn't back down from a challenge. Okay, to overcome fear. To engage in a challenge, yes. or the expression we used a minute ago is to meet a challenge head on. Okay. Okay, Fuang says breakup of a relationship. Yes. Fuang says bad academic performance. Keep going. Okay. Miles says fear of rejection. Okay. I agree. Overcome fear of injury or death. I'm going to help you out a bit. Injury, death, right, is a big one. Okay, James says going against the majority. Okay, so going against majority, sure. How about public speaking? Right? Think about the IELTS, speaking in an exam. All right. So great. We've got a good number of ideas now. These ideas can be divided into two types of fears. Okay? Yeah, maybe three. So one is overcoming physical fears, right? So overcoming physical fears and challenges like injury, like achieving success in a sport, for example. That's one, right? And then the other one is overcoming what? So what I need you to do for success and good score is really good thinking with really good vocabulary for speaking part 2. Okay? So overcoming physical fears and challenges, yes. Mal, there are irrational and rational fears. We're not too concerned about that. Yeah, Mal, that's right. Psychological fears. So overcoming physical fears and challenges, overcoming psychological fears and challenges. And then the other one that you might consider unique or separate, a third one, is overcoming social fears and challenges. All right. Good. Now we've got a good idea of what it means to be brave, right? So to be brave means to overcome those physical fears and challenges, those psychological fears and challenges, and those social fears and challenges. Would everybody agree with me on that? Okay. Would everybody agree that that's kind of a good way to look at bravery? Now, some students or some viewers might be thinking, oh, that took a long time to get to those ideas. Yes, and in the IELTS speaking part 2, and this is why you have to practice, you need to be able to come up with ideas like this quickly. Not just for part 2, but also for part 3. Because part 3 is connected to part 2. So these ideas will link. Okay? Fuang says yes. So if you don't come up with these for part 2, there's a chance that you might not come up with them for part 3 either. And missing these ideas will make it really, really difficult to get a good score in the speaking section. Okay? IELTS, as I've said many times before, is just as much a thinking exam as it is an English exam. Okay? So you have to be able to come up with these under pressure and quickly in that 1 minute time. Okay? All right. So give me some people that you know who are brave. Okay? So this is going to be step 3 in your part 2 preparation. Think of at least 2 to 3 answers. Okay, so in this case, 2 to 3 people that you would consider to be brave. Okay, then choose the best one that you can easily talk about for 2 minutes. And here I should say who you can easily talk about for 2 minutes. All right? Okay, so give me your ideas, and then we'll get going on this speaking part 2 response. Okay? Now you can't pick yourself. All right, Fuang says, my uncle. I'm not sure what little uncle means, Fuang. So, Fuang says, my uncle. Uncle the lawyer. Yes, lawyers are often very brave individuals for sure. Okay. Now, the uncle's name is important, Fuang. So if it's Bob, then it's Bob. Okay, the lawyer. Okay. Your mother's brother, I've never heard him called a little uncle. I've never heard that before. It's just your uncle. Okay? It's not your little uncle, it's your uncle. Your uncle is your uncle. Your uncle is one of your parents' siblings. And Mala's asking, do you mean like your youngest uncle? We usually don't refer to our uncles as my oldest uncle or youngest uncle. It's uncommon, unnecessary. Okay. Anna says, coworker. Evgen. Okay. Fuang says, yes, that's what I mean. Okay, yeah, Fuang, it's not important. It's awkward. We never say my youngest uncle. We just say my uncle. Okay? And then you can describe him, his appearance, his age, and it's all good. Okay? All right. So, I'm going to pick a person as well, and then I will give you a sample answer here. Okay. A brave person who I know, I would go with some of my friends for sure. My friend Tim, who's a police officer. Okay. Let's see. My friend Andrea, who is a minority group advocate. Okay. And my friend Dwayne, who is a social worker, helping people with disabilities and challenges. Okay, and then if I'm thinking about these 3 individuals, I decide which one I'm going to go with. Here, I'm going to go with my friend Dwayne. Okay. He works with lots of individuals who have certain disabilities, helping them to integrate into society. Okay. All right. So now when I do my next step, which are the notes. Okay. And again, I know what you're thinking. You're like, oh, that's a lot to do in 1 minute. It is. So you have to practice this at home. Okay. You have to do it like this. I'm going to show you. Okay, you have 1 minute preparation time. So this is what happens in the 1 minute preparation time. First, you read the questions. Talk about a person you consider very brave. Who is this person? What is the person like? What makes them courageous? What would you ask this person in a conversation and why? Okay, so to be brave means to overcome fears, both physical and mental, and of course, in some situations, social. I'm going to describe this person's appearance, personality backed up by action. Some people that I know are my friend Andrea, my friend Tim, and of course my friend Dwayne, who works in social services. I'm going to go with my friend Dwayne here. I've known him the longest. I know the most about him. Makes sense. So now I'm going to do some useful notes. Dwayne is a big guy. He's 6'2". And he weighs about 230 pounds, so he's definitely a big guy. Okay. He's got dark hair, dark eyes, and a darker complexion. Okay, he's got a very big heart. It's more his personality, but we'll get there in a moment. And then I start talking about his personality. So, of course, he's brave. Why? So I have to think about why he's brave. Okay. Helps people with dangerous history. Okay. Does public speaking. Right? Risks his reputation to help. Okay, so that's about how much time I have in 1 minute, and that should help me. That's enough to get my brain going. And then in the last couple of seconds of my preparation time, step 5, this is a very important one. I remember to create my first sentence. An exceptionally brave individual whom I have the fortune to know is my long time friend Dwayne. Okay, so that's my first sentence. So when the examiner says, okay, your 1 minute preparation time is up, please begin speaking, I can start right away. And I don't start by saying there are lots of brave people who I know. Okay. So here I say an exceptionally brave individual whom I have the fortune to know is my longtime friend Dwayne. I met him during our university studies in an abnormal child psychology course. And we have been close friends ever since. After graduation, Dwayne got a job as a social worker. He is a fairly big guy, about 6'2" tall, and around 230 pounds. This is important in his job because many of the people he helps have a history of violence, and his person could be in danger at any time. However, he does not back down. His goal is to help people with social and mental difficulties integrate back into society after having served time in penitentiary. I think it takes a great deal of courage to do his job, because he not only needs physical strength and confidence, but also mental fortitude. I mean that many of his clients require a lot of energy to help, and he has to deal with a lot of aggressive behavior. Okay, so I'm going along nicely, and again, I'm visualizing the person here, and I'm going into details talking about his character, mostly focusing on bravery. Okay, I hope everybody's kind of following with me here. And I see, Anna, again, the comment that you put there that the bravest person you know is your coworker, Evgen. Okay. And Domenico. Domenico. Let's see. You said, I'm gearing up for the diving expedition, but to be honest, I can't think of anybody close to me who is brave or courageous except my scuba diving instructor. All right. Well, Domenico, I would say that just about anybody in your major who is doing scuba diving could be considered brave or courageous. So your peers, your coworkers, anybody that's going underwater, they're definitely being brave. And your diving instructor for sure. Okay. All right. Anna. Yeah, Anna, absolutely. Yeah, so Anna says, the bravest person I've ever known is my coworker, Evgen. That's a great way to start your cue card response, Anna, because it has present perfect. Okay. All right, so back to my response here. I'm going along nicely. I'm giving a lot of good details. And so, of course, what I want to do here is I want to check the card and make sure that I am on topic and that I'm answering all of the questions. So who is this person? Have I answered that question? Yeah, I think so, right? I said it's my longtime friend and he's a social worker. So who is this person? Yes, I've answered it. What is the person like? I've answered that. What makes them courageous? Yes. And then what would you ask this person in a conversation and why? I have not answered that question. Okay, so I need to make sure that I answer all of these questions, contrary to what some people see on the internet or read. These questions are not just there to guide you, everybody. So this last question, what would you ask this person in a conversation and why? It's a very specific question. If you don't answer this question on this cue card, your mark will go down. Okay, so everybody watching this video in the future after this live class, do remember that you have to answer these questions on the cue card. When you hear that the questions are just a guide, it means that you can include some other relevant information, but you have to answer these. Okay? You have to answer these. So when they say it's just a guide, they're basically telling you you can include other information to make it conversational, as long as it's not off topic. You don't just have to answer these questions. Okay. Some candidates think you just have to answer the questions. So they go, who is this person? Oh, Dwayne is my good friend. He has been my friend for many years. What is this person like? We call him the friendly giant. He is a very big man, 6'2", 230 pounds, and he is always ready to give a helping hand. The other day, he helped a homeless person find a job. What makes them courageous? He works with some dangerous individuals who tend to have aggressive behaviors. What would you ask this person in a conversation and why? If I had the chance, I would ask him what is the most rewarding part of his work. So it's not the best idea to go through the questions just like that, step by step. but it's still better than not answering the questions, okay? What the IELTS exam wants you to do in part 2 is to use these questions as a guide to create a story wherein you answer all those questions and make a good connected story. Does that make sense, everybody? Why they say that it's a guide? They don't want you to just like Q&A the questions, because that's part 1 and part 3. Okay, so it's not like a Q&A session, but they also don't want you to not answer these questions and it's just a guide to like kind of give you an idea. Okay, Mal and Fuang say, yeah, I got that. All right. Again, there's a lot of really bad ideas out there about what to actually do here, and you need to answer these. Okay. All right. So as I just mentioned, given the chance, I would ask my friend Dwayne what the most rewarding experience is that he's ever had. I know that he has helped to rehabilitate some very difficult individuals, and I'm sure he has a couple of great success stories. I think these would be inspiring to hear. Definitely, Dwayne is a very brave person. Okay, so simple finish there. All right, so this is my response here. And again, you need to practice this kind of strategy time and again at home for people, objects, places, events, ideas, so that you can be super, super fluent and confident and quick when you're doing part 2. Okay, so step 1, read the questions. Step 2, figure out the topic, figure out the tense, figure out the categories. So talking about a brave person, you include their appearance and their actions their personality backed by actions. Step 3, you think about 2-3 possible answers. Okay, then you choose one. You choose the one that you can talk about quickly and effectively. Step 4, you write down some quick notes to help you get going. Step 5, you think about your first sentence that uses the topic of the question. And then the examiner says, please begin speaking. And so you begin. An exceptionally brave individual whom I have the fortune to know is my longtime friend Dwayne. I met him during our university studies in an abnormal child psychology course, and we have been close friends ever since. After graduation, Dwayne got a job as a social worker. He is a fairly big guy, about 6 foot 2 inches tall and around 230 pounds. This is important in his job because many of the people he helps have a history of violence, and his person could be in danger at any time. However, he does not back down. His goal is to help people with social and mental difficulties integrate back into society after having served time in penitentiary. I think it takes a great deal of courage to do his job, because he not only needs physical strength and confidence, but also mental fortitude. I mean that many of his clients require a lot of energy to help, and he has to deal with a lot of aggressive behavior. Given the chance, I would ask my friend Dwayne what the most rewarding experience is that he's ever had. I know that he has helped to rehabilitate some very difficult individuals, and I'm sure he has some great success stories. I think these would be inspiring to hear. Definitely, Dwayne is an extremely brave person. Okay, so that is the response. Domenico, I see you've added some context, which is great. Okay, so this is Domenico's start. Domenico says, an exceptionally brave individual whom I have recently had the fortune to meet is none other than my scuba diving instructor, whose name is Jordan. Great. I met him upon my arrival in Los Angeles. This brave soul thrives on plunging into the mesmerizing depths of the sea, exploring its mysteries with unmatched passion and courage. Domenico, that is band 9 thinking and speaking so far. It's really good. Keep going. I'd love to see the rest of this story unfold of how he's brave, what he does. Now, keep in mind, Domenico, he's an instructor, right? So he doesn't just explore the ocean, but he helps other people to learn how to dive, which is... that's definitely a very brave job as well, right? There are a lot of different situations that can go wrong in the water, especially with novice divers. So think about that as you develop your response. Okay, students, so let's take some volunteers for speaking. I want you to answer this part 2 for me, talking about a brave person. The way you do this is you go to aehelp.com and you go to your My Student account. And then in your My Student account, you go to Student Partner Speaking. Let me show you how. Okay, here we go, everybody. So this is our website. Again, to join the premium version of our course, just click on the big red button here. Wow, chick, click. You see my face there. And then go to your My Student account. In your My Student account, go to Student Partner Speaking. By the way, everybody, just above the Student Partner Speaking, you see Join Live Class. That's where we will have our Part 3 class in 1 hour. Okay, so in 1 hour, that's where you want to join Speaking Part 3. Okay, keep that in mind. Okay. All right. So for now, let's click on Student Partner Speaking. Accept and start speaking, and then you'll see your classmates in here. So I see Joe, Mariam, Manikanta, Azim, Gulbahor, Fuang, Ivan, and now you want to volunteer to practice answering these. Okay, so you can see that Ivan has just volunteered, and Fuang has just volunteered. Azim has just volunteered. That is fantastic, everybody. Lots of volunteering happening. That's great. So the way you volunteer is you find me in here. You will see me in here as master. It's easy to see, easy to identify, all big letters. And beside my handle there, you'll see a blue envelope. Click on that to send a message and say, I want to try, or give me a chance. Okay? All right, let's give our premium student, Ivan, a chance to speak here. Hi, Ivan, are you ready? Hopefully Ivan's ready. And then we'll get into it. Okay, Ivan says yes.
Good day, sir. How are you?
Just a second. Yep. If you can hear me, Ivan, just give me one moment. I just have to make one adjustment here on my end.
Okay.
So just give me a second. I think that's it. All right, let me see. Ivan, can you hear me?
Yes. Loud and clear.
I think you're speaking because I can see your desktop audio moving, but I can't hear you. Just give me one moment here, okay?
Okay.
All right, Ivan, can you try again?
Yes. Hello?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can. I just had to, when I was doing my microphone adjustments, I also messed up my speaker adjustments, so I had to adjust the speaker input. All right, Ivan, cool. Now I can hear you. Yeah. Okay, Ivan, Are you ready for this speaking part 2?
Yes.
All right, okay. So you've been watching the class, you know the topic?
Yes. Brave person.
A brave person it is. All right, okay, let me start you off, and then I'll take some notes while you're speaking and give you some feedback. Here we go. That is the end of part 1. We will now continue with part 2. For this part, I will show you some questions. You will have 1 minute to read these. Think about your answers. Take some notes in this time if you wish, and then you will have 1 to 2 minutes to speak. Is that clear?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, it's clear.
Your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
There are a lot of brave persons around recent days. If I had to choose one, I would talk about the doctor from Palestine who died after during the bombardment by IDF. So he chose to stay and treat his patients. His patients. So he looks like ordinary guy, black hair, doctor's white outfit, glasses, nothing really special. And his actions really shows his bravery. Even it doesn't seem like he doing it for showing off or something like that. So he stayed to treat his patients. I saw his interview before he was killed. Very sad situation. If I met him in real life, relative to in relation to the bravery question, I wouldn't ask any questions, him or anybody else. Why? Because it's not. It doesn't seem fair. This question doesn't seem fair to ask because people who who act bravely do it not because of not to show off. And when you ask them such kind of question,
okay, your time
it
is
doesn't
up.
seem fair.
I will stop
Okay.
you there, and we will now go on to part 3. For this part, I will ask you some questions related to the topic of part 2. Okay, so your band score for this, Ivan, would be about a 5.526. Okay. It felt to me like you were having a bit of challenge with fluency throughout the response, and at some points it felt like your fluency was hampered because of lack of ideas or what to say next, and at other points it felt like it was hampered because maybe you were lacking some of the words or vocabulary or grammar that was needed to stay fluent in those parts. So it was a combination. And so in these kinds of situations, oftentimes the examiner will opt for that band 5.56. The reason why you're kind of close to a fluent mark in this case is because you are using relatively good vocabulary and grammar. So your vocabulary score would be more like 6.5. Your grammar score would be more like a 6.5 to 7. Pronunciation is more like an 8. You speak quite clearly. Okay, let me give you a little bit of feedback here on how to improve, Ivan, okay? And you're somewhat of a new student to the channel and to the group, which is great. Because there's a lot of learning and quick improvement that you can make. Number 1, don't use templates in your speaking or in your writing in the IELTS, okay? Ivan, what I mean by that is when you have a part 2 question and you start with this, there are a lot of brave persons around these days.
Okay.
If I had to choose one, it sounds like you're copying one of those many million videos or IELTS students. And this actually, the big problem in the real test is the examiners get frustrated when they hear students saying these templates, and they might not even give you the 2 minutes. If they feel like you're going into this kind of template type of response, they might even stop you at 90 seconds. So it'll really hurt your score. Okay, so just be very careful with that. All right.
Okay.
So you need to just directly answer. Okay. A very brave individual I came to know recently was Dr. Ahmed, who died in a bombardment in the Gaza Strip just last month. I saw an extensive interview with him. Boom. Now you have a very clear, very specific start. Okay. You're not wasting any time, right? You're not taking 30 seconds just to kind of copy a template. Does that make sense, Ivan?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. Just try it. So just the start. Just try it one more time. Okay. So talk about a brave person that you know your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
Yes. I would like to talk about a doctor who recently died in bombardment in Palestine. He stayed to treat his patients even there was a big danger for him.
Okay, much better start. Okay, it's not perfect, but it's still much better. That's what the examiners like to hear. Okay, is that direct statement. Okay, all right. So when you said that he looks like an ordinary guy, that was fine. You said doctor's outfit. Doctors usually have on what's called scrubs. Scrubs are the outfits that they use for the operating room, or they have a white lab coat.
Yes, a white lab coat.
Yeah. So try to really stay away from those negative answers. Like you said that, you know, you wouldn't ask him any questions because brave individuals are often altruistic. It's a matter of opinion, right? I would say they're both. I would say they're either very altruistic, like this doctor, or some brave people that you see on Instagram are exceptionally egocentric and they love to be recognized for their bravery climbing mountains or jumping off bridges. So it goes either way. But more importantly here, Ivan, is I would avoid negative answers because negative answers don't allow you to express your vocabulary, grammatical range as much. So you know, I would come up with an answer for this. I would definitely say, you know, if I were given the chance, I would ask how he was able to control his fear when there was so much chaos and noise around him. Okay, can you try to repeat that sentence?
If I had a chance, I would ask him how he managed to control his fear in this kind of situation.
In this kind of chaotic situation with so much noise around him.
In such kind of chaotic situation with so much noise and fear and a lot of crazy things happening around him.
Perfect. Okay, much better. All right. So, and now notice how when you're using the positive side, you're forced into creating reported speech. So direct and indirect reported speech. And of course, as soon as that appears in your IELTS, you're using direct, indirect reported speech. In the conditional, now you're showing more grammatical range as well. So there are reasons to stay on the positive side. Okay, so always try to focus on positive as much as possible.
May I ask you a question?
Of course.
Related to this, you're not total against it, yep? I mean, when I answer the question, I try to be sincere. I had a difficult time to made up a situation which I personally don't agree with. For example, it seems like it's possible to.
Ivan, I'm going to play the examiner here, so I'm going to play because I've done the IELTS exam and I've met the examiners and I've met lots of them, and I'm going to tell you the exact truth to your question that the examiners would say to you. 19 out of 20 examiners will say this to you. I don't care. Okay, so that's the sad truth. You said, like, you know, you appreciate me being sincere or not. No, honestly, I don't care. I'm just here to assess.
It's not about that.
English.
It's not the point.
Okay, what is your point? Make it clear for me, and then I can answer you accurately.
You're not completely against negative question. Yep, you said.
Oh, no, I'm not
Try to
against
avoid it.
it. Yeah, no, I'm not against it. I'm not against it. I'm not for it. So I'm not against it. I'm not for it. It doesn't matter to me. That's what I mean. So it doesn't matter to me if you say negative or positive. The only thing I care about is to measure how much vocabulary you're using, the
And
grammatical
positive
range that
are
you're...
better for better vocabulary.
Exactly. Yes, that's exactly
Okay.
it. So that's the bottom line, right? And that's what I'm trying to express with that. So, but no, of course, the examiner is not against you telling the truth or telling a lie. In fact, even like certain opinions that are somewhat politically sensitive or sensitive religiously, as long as you're not really overstepping, they don't care as long as you're expressing yourself. So if you have an opinion that's, within the realm of acceptable but opinionated, you can say that, right? Of course, you don't want to be racist, you don't want to be prejudiced, but you're welcome to your opinion. Okay, so in fact, it's a good idea to have an opinion, because another aspect here, and listen up everybody, because Ivan's got some good questions here, and it leads me to another important point. So the examiner doesn't care if it's a positive or a negative response. So if you say, no, I don't do that, or if you say, yes, I do that every day, positive responses generate more language, generate more vocabulary, so you tend to do better. The other aspect here, Ivan, that's important to consider is your opinion. So oftentimes students will say, it depends, and then they kind of sit on the fence and they have a neutral opinion. Again, the examiner doesn't care if you have a neutral opinion or if you have a one-sided opinion. Same as the negative and positive, one-sided opinions generate more language, more vocabulary, and they're more coherent. Neutral opinions are often confusing. When we have neutral opinions of like, well, it could be good, it could be bad, then when you're finished speaking, your listener's kind of like, what just happened? What is the opinion, right? So another advice is stay away or be careful trying to give neutral opinions. Okay, Ivan?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Thank you.
Yeah?
Yep.
All right. Thank you for being my first volunteer. Have a great rest of your day. All right. Bye, Ivan.
You too. Bye.
All right. Let's give Ivan a thumbs up. It's all of you who volunteer, in my opinion, are very brave people. So I appreciate you. Okay, let's give Noor a chance here. Noor, are you ready? Okay, Noor, if you're there, let me know. And we'll jump right in. Thank you, Fuang, for the thumbs up. Domenico's giving lots of thumbs up as well. Great. Okay, I'm not seeing Noor respond here, so I'm going to give Gulbahor a chance. Gulbahor, are you ready? Let's hear about some more brave people. I didn't know about the doctor, by the way, in Palestine, so I'll maybe check into that and learn his backstory afterwards. But definitely during wartime, you have a lot of very brave people, and the medical staff are extremely brave individuals.
Oh, hello.
Hi, Gulbahor.
Hi, sir.
How is your day going?
Yeah, apparently I got sick. I felt bad all day, and I just woke up to take part in class, even though it's almost 8 p.m. in my country.
You are a brave person, Gulbahor. You're sick, it's late, and you're still pushing forward with your studies. All right. Well, I hope you get better soon. You know the trick, right? Lots of fluids, lots of vitamins.
Thank you.
All right. And it's good to be a bit active. So, you know, a lot of people just lay in bed. But if you can, it's good to move around a little bit, get a little bit of fresh air, right? All right.
Yes, I'm trying to train in speaking every day.
That is always going to be a benefit. Humans are social creatures, so improving communication is always a good idea. All right, let me start you off for this part 2. Are you ready?
Yes, I am. Yes, right. I'm ready.
Good. By the way, you just gave me a good, clear answer there. And Ivan also, at first he said, yep. And then he said, yes, it's clear. He realized it's better to give a stronger more professional answer there. It's very true. So when you're in the IELTS exam and you're speaking to the examiner, try to stay away from responding with like a yep or a yeah sure. I know we're in 2023 and the world has become very modern, but in professional situations you still need to use some of these more appropriate phrases. So that's smart. Okay, Gulbahor, let's do this. So talk about a person you consider very brave. Your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
The bravest person I have ever known is my former supervisor at university. He's a clinical psychologist and he works in an AIDS center. First of all, his profession requires a high level of courage. And although he does not fight with villains, every day he informs patients about their terminal illnesses. He is a tall and slim man with blonde, curly hair and very kind and warm eyes. At first sight, you never suspect him to be a brave person who faces human tragedies every day and helps them to overcome these problems. It is all because of his softness and pliability. He definitely has a heart of gold. Once he had a very difficult patient. It was a girl, about 16 years old, and my supervisor had the task of informing her that she was infected with HIV. This was quite a tough job, and that required a sense of tact and an enormous dose of courage. I was impressed by the way he handled this problem and how he explained her situation and the only way out. I do not know where he found the bravery to say these words, and of course the girl was hysterical at the beginning. However, when she calmed down, she thanked him and asked when she could start treatment. I didn't expect this, and it was a real miracle at that time. Next time when I have a chance to communicate with him, I would ask the question, was there a situation when he failed to cope with his responsibility? Because it is hard for me to imagine his failure. Nevertheless, the main question I wanted to ask, my main question to him was been asked. I asked him how to be brave enough and not to be afraid to tell people such truth. He replied that courage is not when you are not afraid of anything, but when you are. Oh, what?
I will stop you there. Although I want to keep listening to you, but the examiner can't. They're not allowed to. However, Gulbahor, one way, and students, one way that you know you're getting a band 8.5 or a 9 is if the examiner looks like they want to keep listening, but they can't anymore because they're out of time. So they have to, according to standard, they have to stop you at 2 minutes no matter what, no matter how exciting your response is. Gulbahor, quick question. Did you prepare that answer beforehand?
No, I prepared it just 10 minutes ago. Just the
like the outline?
Like the outline.
It was brilliant. And I say that very sincerely. So I'm very, I don't sugarcoat, so I won't encourage you with false estimations or evaluations. That would be a band 9. So that response to this question is considered by any standard expert. If an examiner gives you a band 8 or an 8.5 for that response, it's simply because they're scared to give you a band 9, or they don't have enough experience, or they had a terrible day and they just have to express that in a strange way. But any examiner who is doing their job well should be giving you a band 9 for that response without question. It had every element and at the highest level. Yes, you. I had to write down what you were saying. So that you said AIDS Center. That was a little bit strange. I was like, oh, AIDS Center. Okay. So certain acronyms are spoken. This one especially. So you will never really hear people say AIDS. You'll always hear them say AIDS.
Oh.
AIDS. Okay, so it's an AIDS.
Oh, in my
center.
language, it's the same. Yeah.
Yeah, AIDS Center. Do you know what that stands for, AIDS? AIDS, what the actual acronym stands for, AIDS?
I know in my language. Autoimmune disease.
Autoimmune deficiency.
Deficiency, yes,
Syndrome.
deficiency syndrome.
Okay, that's the AIDS, autoimmune deficiency syndrome, which is most commonly a sexually transmitted disease. Okay, can you repeat that after me? So I'm going to give you the full sentence. He works at an AIDS center, an autoimmune deficiency syndrome hospital, to help people. This is, of course, a well-known, usually sexually transmitted disease. Okay, go ahead and try to repeat as much of that context as possible.
He works in an AIDS center. What you said after that? Autoimmune deficiency syndrome.
Care facility.
Care facility. And about this disease, something.
Yes, and I said this is
say.
usually a sexually transmitted disease.
Sexually transmitted disease.
And it is a terminal disease.
And it is a terminal disease, yes.
Yeah, and you use that term. You said it's a terminal disease. What made your response a band 9? A band 9 is usually awarded not just to really good English, really good grammar and vocabulary, but it's awarded to a response, whether in speaking part 2 or in writing, to a response that is captivating, so that really captures the listener. And the part of your response that captured my intelligence was when you expressed that he's a brave person because he has the responsibility to inform patients about their terminal illness. And that creates a great deal of empathy in your listener's mind. So if I put myself in the shoes of your supervisor and I put myself in the situation of having to tell somebody that, look, you're going to perish and you've got about anywhere from 6 months to maybe 5 years on average, I can only imagine what kind of courage that would take. So by creating that level of empathy and using the right vocabulary and grammar to achieve it, you're really pushing that band 9 perfect scores. So that was really good, and that's exactly what you want to do, Gulbach Horse. So this is the exact way that you want to answer that question. Okay, so well done. Well done.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Keep up the good work. Do you have an idea of when you're going to do the IELTS yet?
What?
Do you have an idea of when?
When? When? Yes.
I'm sorry, I
on
didn't
December
catch that.
16th.
Can you repeat that? Yes. Okay, just remember. I know it's 2023, but still more professional language. Not what? So, all right. Well, go back. I'm quite sure you're ready. So make sure to focus on speaking part 3 questions and really focus on the writing section. Okay. I have a feeling you're going to do quite well in the speaking, especially part 1. And
you know, just a week ago, I failed my mock exam.
Well, I think when you say
only 6.5.
Yeah. Okay. Well, in the speaking, definitely not. So I don't know who scored your speaking, but I cannot imagine you getting a 6.5 in speaking. So if somebody gave you a 6.5 in speaking,
in speaking it was 7.
Okay, that's not accurate. So 7 is, if you're answering kind of like this, like you're doing in the live class, then 7 is not accurate for your speaking. Guarantee you it's not accurate.
It seemed like my previous answer was not so good. Maybe that's why I had only 7.
Maybe, but this response was nowhere near a 7. Okay, so all right, go back horse. So lots of practice on writing, especially. Okay, task 2 especially. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got it.
Bye for now.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. All right, that was Gulbach Horse. Let's give her a thumbs up. That was really good. All right. Let's give somebody else a chance here. I think Diaz really wanted to volunteer, and I don't know if Diaz got a chance last time. Diaz, are you ready? Nice to see many volunteers, by the way. Okay. You can always practice with others as well. I love seeing all of you in here. And everybody, again, do remember we've got a live class coming up in about 40 minutes on the website, okay, through the website. And so let me just reach out to Diaz here. Hi, Diaz.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good also. Diaz, can you remind me what country you're in?
I'm from Kazakhstan.
Kazakhstan. Okay, cool. All right. Great. Diaz, are you ready to practice the speaking part two?
Of course, I'm ready.
Awesome. Okay, here we go. Talk about a person you consider very brave. Your 1 minute preparation time begins now. Please begin speaking.
An extremely gorgeous person whom I personally know is 2016 Olympic swimming champion Dmitry Balandin. I've met him first time when he had a tour around Kazakhstan showing some basic swimming techniques. I even had an opportunity to ask him a couple of questions, and I remember having butterflies in my stomach when I had this conversation with him. In a nutshell, Mr. Balandin is, I would assume, 210 centimeters tall. And when I hooked up with him first time, I was really amazed because it's quite rare to meet such a giant in everyday life. Furthermore, he has a well-shaped muscular body, short white hair, and smiley face. I can safely assume that he is undoubtedly ambitious and self-disciplined person, since it takes a lot of effort and enthusiasm to become Olympic gold medalist. The main reason why I consider him as one of the bravest person is because during Olympics he was underrated by many professional analytics and was thought to be an underdog by the whole crowd. This has definitely created kind of tremendous pressure on him. And despite of all predictions, not only he won a gold medal, but also did it with a huge advance, I would say, in comparison with his competitors. And if I had a chance to have another conversation with him, I would definitely ask all swimming-related questions, since I've always wondered what inspired him to become an adept in swimming.
Okay, I will stop you there. Wow, some impressive performances this morning. Morning time for me. It's just still 6:51 in the morning for me. But yeah, it's a great start to my day when I hear our students and our volunteers speaking with such English. That's brilliant. It's like you just wrote his biography. And when it sounds like you're writing the person's biography, it's really good. I would give you I want to give you a band 9, but I would give you a band 8 to 8.5, and I'm going to tell you why. Everything was perfect except one point that I was like, yeah. Your sentences were brilliant. Your vocabulary was brilliant. So saying he was an underdog, a really nice expression. An underdog is a person in a competition who is less favored or expected to lose. So the odds are against them. That's the underdog, so expected to lose. So, it was, I really enjoyed the response. You gave me a good picture. I mean, mentioning that he's 210 centimeters tall is really important. He's huge, right? So giving me that visual image of him is definitely important, especially since I don't know who he is, but I'm kind of out of touch with the news and sports these days. So that's why I don't know about the doctor that Ivan spoke about. I don't know about him. So it's good to have that image. The one reason, Diaz, where I'm like, ugh, and you don't want to do this, you make sure you want to avoid this in the IELTS, is the topic. So talking about him as the bravest or most courageous person, you said it, but it took a long time to get there. You started by saying an extremely gorgeous person.
No, I said extremely courageous person, right? Is it
Yeah, and
an adjective for a verb, courage?
courageous, exactly. But
Courageous, yeah, okay.
it
Yeah, my
sounded to me,
mistake.
I mean, listen back to the audio once the recording is done. It's going to be at about an hour and 28 minutes into the video, or hour and 25 minutes. Listen back. To me, it sounded like you said gorgeous. It didn't sound like the word courageous. So
Courageous.
yeah, so I'm not sure if the wires got crossed in your head between the time they got to your mouth. It's possible, but or maybe my ears didn't work. I don't know, but I heard gorgeous. So I guess a good tip here, Diaz, is in the beginning, in those first couple of sentences, really include the concept of being brave. So you know how you mentioned later that the main reason you consider him brave is because he overcame pressure and he overcame being the underdog. I would put that earlier in the discussion. So I would put that like right after saying that he's 2 meters 10, or just before. I would throw that one sentence in there. So I would say an extremely courageous person whom I know is this Olympic champion. I think he's really brave because he was the underdog and he didn't lose faith, and he still won the gold medal. Now it's 100% clear for me that you're focusing on bravery. Are you clear on what I mean there? Like really emphasizing it?
So I have to put this sentence just after giving his appearance, right?
Just after or just before. So even if you're, because examiners are human too, and their ears aren't perfect and their minds aren't perfect, right? So even though you say that he's courageous, they might miss it or they might not. So if you say it twice, then you're guaranteeing that the examiner realizes that, oh, okay, you're really targeting the question. You see what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
So that's what you want to do. Try it one more time. So just try the start one more time and then try to double up on the concept of being brave or courageous. So your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
An extremely courageous person whom I personally know is 2016 Olympic champion Dmitry Balandin. So have I say like is it necessary for me to say where I met him, or I can just skip this part and go to the point?
Go to the point and then say where you met him. So I would just
Okay.
reiterate or give more detail on his bravery, one more sentence, and then go into his appearance and more. So yeah, try
Okay.
one more time. Yeah, go for it.
An extremely courageous person whom I personally know is 2016 Olympic champion Dmitry Balandin. He is 210 centimeters tall, and when I hooked up with him first time, I was really amazed because it's quite rare to meet such a giant in everyday life. And the reason why I think he's one of the bravest person is because despite of all chances, despite of all predictions of professional analytics, and being considered as an overdog by a crowd, he did it with a great face.
Awesome. Not overdog, underdog.
Oh, yes. Sorry, underdog, right?
Yeah. And do you know what the opposite of underdog is, by the way, now that we're on that topic, just for some fun vocabulary for everybody? So the underdog is the person expected to lose, person or team expected to lose, versus the team expected to win. Do you know what that's usually referred to as?
A favorite or
Exactly.
or an over.
Yeah, we don't usually say overdog. We say the favored or the favorite. Yeah. So the person or team expected to win, that's called the favorite.
Okay.
Yeah. So he was not the
So you
favorite.
usually you don't use overdog, right?
No. I don't even know if I've ever heard that used in everyday life or conversation or even in text. So no, it's not used, overdog. Immediately my mind goes to the word overlord, which is kind of related but different. So no. All right, Diaz, thank you so much for volunteering and sharing that story. I'm learning lots, and that was a great response. So it's exactly what you want to do. Again, the most important tip there is just really emphasize the topic in the first few sentences so that the examiner knows that you're on the right topic and they don't think you just memorized some information about this guy and now you're using it for whatever question comes up about people, right? So you want to make sure you target that topic right away, okay?
Okay, absolutely clear. Okay, thank you for feedback. Bye.
Absolutely. Bye, Diaz. Okay, everybody. So we're using the chat interface right now to interact with our students and practice speaking part 2. In 30 minutes, I'm going to come back and we're going to do another live class through the website. So that's going to be through this blue Join Now button, everyone. And we're going to do lots of speaking practice there through the website's live chat interface. So what you want to do is come back in 30 minutes. If you don't see me, refresh your page, okay? You might have to refresh it to enter the chat, okay? Especially if you've had the page open for a while. And then all of those students who were trying to volunteer in this class, I have a kind of a list in my head. I will give you a chance to answer some of those part 3 questions, okay? So again, for everybody watching, our website is aehelp.com. For academic IELTS, please visit us here and join our premium package. It's a really good idea. Okay, you will get access to all the materials and content so you can study anytime, anywhere. Click that big red button. It's a one-time payment. You get lifetime access. And then for the general IELTS, it's gieltshelp.com. It's the green background. You can access the student partner speaking from there as well. For the academic, you'll have to use, or for the, the live class, you have to use the academic website. We don't have that option in the general yet, but you can also access that by clicking the try demo button. Okay. Sarah, you are very late, but we've got another class coming up in 30 minutes on the website. So hopefully I will see you there, Sarah. Okay, everyone, back in 30 minutes, live streaming on the website. Until then, check out aehelp.com, gieltshelp.com, get the apps, practice your English. And I look forward to speaking with you. I'm Adrian. I'm signing out from Victoria, Canada for now, and I'm back shortly on the website. Okay, welcome to our group of members, Tapik. Nice to have you join at the end here. Bye, everybody.